I decided to break my sequence of dealing with cardio issues and talk briefly about COVID-19. I wasn't going to, as there are so many people doing videos about it. Some of the info is good, some not so good. The last thing I want to do is to add to any confusion, so I'll just make a few comments, some of it being information you may not be aware of, and some to just reflect on. First comment I would make is about what I feel is the biggest danger posed by COVID-19, and that is fear and panic. We are seeing examples of this panic throughout the world, and much of it is really hard to understand what the rationale is, such as hoarding toilet paper when there's no shortage of supply. I could understand some panic if food supplies were about to be cut off, but toilet paper? Fear can be really damaging as it can manifest in multiple ways. The worst part is the negativity that it promotes, which in turn makes everything seem worse than it is. So just how bad is this COVID-19 pandemic? It is bad, no question about that, and it is much more widespread than people realise, and many more people have it who are unaware that they do, as their symptoms are so mild that they don't report it, and they don't get tested. This in turn raises the percentage of deaths from the virus as it is calculated from the number of confirmed infections. In Italy at the time of doing this video, there were 74,000 confirmed cases and 7,500 deaths. That's around 10%, which is indeed frightening. However, I wouldn't be surprised if there was more than 1 million people in Italy who have the infection or are asymptomatic and don't even realise that they have it. I think that only a fraction of the people who have it have been identified. If you wonder why, over recent weeks, so many celebrities and politicians have tested positive, a couple of weeks ago, the wife of the Canadian Prime Minister was diagnosed with COVID-19. And at that time, there were only 95 cases confirmed in Canada. What about Tom Hanks and his wife, who were in Australia about the same time, and were diagnosed when there were only 110 cases there? There are a lot of well-known people throughout the world who have been confirmed with COVID-19, but it would seem unlikely that these people caught the virus, whereas the masses did not. So, what are the chances of dying from COVID-19? Pretty low, unless you have an underlying health condition. Have a look at these statistics. Firstly, let's look at age. As you can see, the older people are definitely more susceptible, which is logical when you look at the next chart, which indicates the percentage of people who die from COVID-19 with underlying health conditions. The most common one is heart disease, which is significant, particularly if you add hypertension onto the percentage. The risk for age is somewhat skewed, as it appears that the older you are, the much greater risk you are. Whereas that is true, it is only because older people are more likely to have underlying health conditions. The average age of fatalities in Italy just recently was 81, with an average of 2.7 underlying health conditions. There was a recent case of a 103-year-old woman who got COVID-19 and she recovered totally, but she was healthy and had no underlying health issues. The underlying health issues are the biggest risk factor with COVID-19, not age. When someone has an underlying health issue and is on medication, their immune system is steadily weakened, which makes them vulnerable and less likely to recover from a virus, irrespective whether it be COVID-19 or some other form. So, to be protected, you must focus on your general health and strengthen your immune system. If you know your system is compromised, then you must take extra precautions and do your best to be isolated from potential sources of infections. And that means social distancing. If you want reliable information about what is going on about COVID-19 throughout the world, this is the site you can bookmark. It is very accurate and reliable. Worldometers is run by an international and independent team of developers, researchers and volunteers. Now, that's all for me today, so I'm going to leave you with a word of advice from Pluto. I hope you enjoy it, and talk soon.
Hello, Internet. It's Pluto here, and I just I'm getting the feeling that there's a time of crisis for the two-leggeds, and so I thought maybe I could share some perspectives from the four-leggeds, and maybe that could help you. So we like to just chill out at home, and we curl up, and we wander around and play with the tennis ball, and there's lots that you can do. And I heard that there's a crisis with the toilet paper, which I don't understand. I mean, for cats, I understand because they like to play with it, but cats aren't that important. But for humans, well, what my mom, what she does for me is she cuts the hair on my bum really, really, really short, and then so stuff just comes straight out, and then there's no worry, it's all good. And then also, my other mom said that she went this morning and there was nothing in the grocery store, so she said there won't be any snacks today. But for me, it's really easy for snacks. You just go sniffing around a little bit, and if you live near like a little school or something, even if it's closed, there's going to be some leftover snacks around there for sure. And also at the end of the street, at the curb area where the water goes down, sometimes snacks get stuck around there. So it's a good place to check for a little snack if you're really hungry. So it's really very important that you all be good to each other. And the practice the social distancing. So you shouldn't sniff other people's legs, and you really shouldn't sniff their crotches until this whole thing is over. That's social responsibility. So I'm here if you need me, and I'm really wishing you some good luck. Okay? All right. Bye.